Welcome back to another episode of Join FDNY Podcast. We have a couple more interesting interviews.
Yeah.
More,
it's celebrating Women's History Month.
Definitely
right?
celebrating Women's History
Month.
Month.
Very big stuff. I did an interview with Lieutenant Adrienne Walsh from Rescue 1.
Ooh,
one of my heroes
times.
on this job.
I know.
I will say.
I'm sure she's a few, not just for you.
Oh gosh, yeah. She's done so much. She's broken so many glass ceilings on this job.
I've heard nothing but positive things about her. I've never actually met her in person.
You've never met her in person?
But no,
I've been fortunate enough to meet her in person. I've been fortunate enough to work with, side by side with her at jobs when I was a captain of 12 truck when she was a lieutenant in Squad 18. Right. So we ran in on a lot of things together. So I was very fortunate.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
And she's done a lot of amazing things on this job and had a great interview. And why don't we just take a look at it?
Yeah, let's take a look and listen.
Lieutenant Adrienne Walsh from Rescue 1. It's my absolute pleasure to have you here today. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me. It was very kind to ask.
You've been, I will tell you, you've been someone I've looked up to my entire career.
Oh, my Lord.
I think
it's hard since I'm 5'3". It's very kind of you to say that. It's very humbling and very kind.
No, that's, you've been someone who I've admired the integrity that you've moved through this department with.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah,
One tries.
So what was it that drew you to join the FDNY?
Well, to be honest with you, I remember in high school the first women getting on, or that process of getting on, and I just remember reading the stories in the newspaper, which of course you always have to take a step back and realize what is and what is not fact. But I remember saying, how can this be possible that these women can't pass this test? This is insane. Mm-hmm. This is, with the right training, anybody can pass anything. So come 1986, when the fire department was offering the written in December again, I took it and I thought, well, I'm just going to take this physical and see how bad it really is, right? And then it was delayed, because hiring then was not as quick as it is now. The physical date for that test was the summer of '88.
Wow.
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah. And then unfortunately so we were training for that, and unfortunately someone passed away on that exam, which delayed it, and then other people had to be sent to the hospital, which further delayed it. So it was delayed a long time. I got on the list, but they weren't hiring, so I had to take the next one. Mm-hmm. At that point, I was working for myself, and while business was making money, I was not, as I was making a living, the business wasn't making money, and I had to really, crap it, get off the pot.
Right.
And I thought, working for myself is great, but I'd love some more time to do things I want to do, and having a pension and benefits is always helpful. And I already took this test once, so what the heck? Let's give it another shot.
Right.
So in '94, I took I think it was 93 was the written, and '94 was the physical, I believe, and then I was hired in '97. And then it went from there.
And then you start, what made you go to SOC? Like, what was your...
So I'm a great believer that if you're going to, that you should know as much as you can about a job. Mm-hmm. And the only way to do that is to really immerse yourself in it. And I thought special operations was an immersion process, and I was not wrong about that. You learn a lot from the field units, you really do. And then when you want to take that extra step into... And unfortunately, it coincides with September 11th. I mean, I had just 4 years on the job when that occurred. Mm-hmm. And I remember certainly as we know, residents of the city, the enormity of it all, the shock. And then to just, I just remember, well, I can say this now. I remember going down late at night and searching and going down into those voids, just in a desperate attempt to find anybody.
Yeah.
And when you didn't, it was so just...
so disheartening.
Disheartening. It was almost debilitating at times because you just thought there's nothing to do. And that's, I thought, well, I want to do something.
So you get into SOC? Mm-hmm. You go to Squad 18?
Squad 18, and then I went to 5.
Okay.
So, and then I was promoted out of Rescue 5.
Right.
And then
and going into Rescue 5, probably also Rescue 6, since it's, you were the first woman to go into a rescue company.
I was, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
were you the second woman to go into SOC?
Yes, Celia Thompson.
Celia Thompson, right?
Lord rest her soul, was the first woman in 270. Yes, I had the pleasure of speaking with her once. I never really met her, unfortunately. But I was at 20 Truck, and she called. I believe she went to speak to someone at Squad 18, and she called from the pile, and she was lovely, a lovely chat with her.
Right.
And that was it. That was the last time. And then I did get an email from her when I got promoted, which was lovely. It seemed like just a lovely woman. So yeah, she was the first person in 270. Yeah.
What advice would you give to women on the job now who are interested in going over to SOC, or just even having a successful career, or people who want to come on the job? What would be kind of some advice you would give?
I think first and foremost for the whole job, the best advice is not only to set yourself up for success, but to set everybody around you up for success. Everybody.
Absolutely.
So if you're, that night tour, if someone asks you to help them with something, by all means do it, and then get everybody around and do it. Mm-hmm. If you're not setting the team up for success, that doesn't, the performance is not going to be there. Mm-hmm. Do your best to know everything you can possibly. Learn from others. There's so many talented people in this job.
Right.
Really talented people. And different kinds of talents. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I remember you were a science major, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before, right?
Yep.
If I had you in my house, I would have been picking your brain about a lot of hazmat stuff, because that was a bit of a mountain for me to climb, mm-hmm. right? So find what people are talented in, and find what they did in their previous lives.
Well, I can't thank you enough for coming down.
It's very kind of you to have me.
I really appreciate having you.
I'm very
here.
humbled. I hope, I just wish everybody well, and I wish this department well, and I hope that the women coming on this job take it and run with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And whatever that means to them.
Yes.
Exactly. Please don't forget, we have a Marine division that is phenomenal, a hazmat division that is phenomenal. Maureen
mm-hmm. Maureen is a lieutenant in hazmat one.
Which is great. There are places where you can go that your interests lie, you know. So there's, whatever you want to do, just by all means grab it and go, and realize that you're going to hit walls sometimes simply mm-hmm. because it takes too long to do this, or I didn't get promoted, or navigate till you get where you need to be or where you want to be,
mm-hmm.
Right. She has a lot of personality, a lot
very impressive, right?
Yeah, a lot of stories to talk about, right? What do you?
Yeah, I mean,
what's your thoughts?
It's interesting just seeing just the progression of what they've done and what they've overcome to get to their places,
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah,
it's great to see.
And to do it with still a smile on the face. I'm sure it's not easy being,
No, she's had her challenges for sure, right? Like
right.
hasn't been easy, but
right.
She's definitely come through it with integrity, is what I would say.
That's very good. That's very good character
very
building, and
right.
she probably doesn't realize how many individuals she's inspiring, man. And
I'm not so sure she realizes how inspiring she is.
I guess a lot also like you interviewed.
I also did 2 other interviews,
Yeah.
right? I had the opportunity to talk to Deputy Chief Inspector Chinelle Thomas.
Right.
She's from fire prevention, right? So she's a rising star in fire prevention. Right. And I also spoke to Division Chief Dinora Claudio from EMS, right? You know her.
Yep.
Yeah, I think you know Claudio, right?
Yeah. She's a division chief in Brooklyn.
Right.
Really, really great. Yeah.
Really great. Like, I just, I had a lot of fun doing this interview.
All right, so let's take a listen.
Let's take a look. So, Dinora, can you just tell me and our viewers a little bit about your background?
I was raised in Sunset Park. Then we moved over into Brownsville, Brooklyn, and which is currently where I live right now. I moved back in with Mom because Mom is on the elderly side. Mm-hmm. So I'm actually living back again in the community where I service. And my current office is located in the station where I first started my career.
Oh, that's good.
As an EMT.
That's fun.
So it's I've come full circle.
Like a boomerang.
And it's
Wow.
it's
Funny.
very proud of that. I've never thought as a little EMT could reach this level. Mm-hmm. But walking through the halls of the division, EMS Station 5-8, I see my name, in some of the plaques, EMT, Claudio. So I'm very proud of that.
You should.
That's great.
Awesome.
Super exciting.
Okay.
Chinelle, you want to go into a little bit about your background?
That's hard to beat. I love that. That's awesome.
Right? That's
what?
pretty. That's like
23 years.
inspirational,
I'm
right?
like, okay. Well, after I graduated high school, I actually went to John Jay College to get my degree first in forensics because I was like, oh, CSI, so cool.
Because it's just like that.
It's just like in real life, right? Of course. So it so happened that I actually took some courses in fire science. Okay. And I got to get some mentoring from Spatafora. He came and he did some classes. That was awesome. And he wrote some of the books that we studied. So it was really inspiring. And I actually switched my major to fire science. And it so happened after I graduated, there was actually hiring for fire prevention not too long after. So in 2014, I started my career in the fire department in fire prevention.
In fire prevention?
Yes.
As an inspector?
Yes.
You talk about like being a woman in like these roles of leadership, like this kind of groundbreaking thing of being, women in leadership roles.
Well, for me, it's pretty awesome because I'm one of 3 deputy chief inspectors in the Bureau of Fire Prevention. So that's kind of amazing to say. It's new, but it's also showing that it's having more diversity now. It's starting off small, but we'll get to the bigger numbers.
Okay.
So that's something good to look forward to. But at the same time, everybody's so nice. They're great. It's like, okay, you're a woman, but it's not taken away from doing the job. People still respect you. You have a good relationship with the people. At least I've worked with. Everyone is very respectful and nice, to work with.
We did have women that were chiefs, deputy chiefs, and I believe we also had a division chief at the time. But there were very few, and it was very sporadic. But we did have them, and always looked up to them.
Right.
We can reach that goal as well.
Right.
Now we have a higher percentage of women than some of my male counterparts in the chiefs.
That's nice.
Right. Our highest, she just recently retired. Our highest chief was Chief Lillian Bonsignor. Yeah. Okay. So. Okay. What better than that to really represent the women in in EMS. So
definitely.
she ran EMS. She was the first, and we hope that there'll be many more behind her. Right now, but there's many more women of all nationalities in EMS as deputy chiefs and division chiefs.
Nice.
Yeah. So. Good diversity.
Yeah,
in there.
it's a good diversity.
Making your mark. Women are making their mark.
Yeah,
we are.
Any advice for someone interested in joining, fire prevention or EMS? What kind of advice could you give to people who are interested in joining?
I would say don't be deterred or be afraid, because sometimes you may watch the requirements on DCAS, right? Because this is where you're going to go sign up. And you'll look at the requirements and think, oh, no, this may be too tough, be too hard. It's all about learning. It really isn't as bad as you think. It's an amazing job, an amazing opportunity. You get to be with the public. You're helping New York City, New Yorkers be safer. That's one of the reasons why I actually love the job. We're keeping everyone safer. We're helping firefighters have less fires. That is awesome. Making sure everybody goes home to their families, So I would say to everyone, really take the chance. It's a wonderful opportunity. I'm glad I took it, and I just hope to see more women come to the department, come to the Bureau, come represent New York City Bravers, be part of it.
Yeah.
There are women currently in this department right now that we're at the levels that we are because we didn't let anybody else tell us.
That is true.
No.
Don't tell you no.
That's true.
Don't let them tell you no. There's a lot of opportunities here, and I think they offer a good background, and wherever you decide to go, it's family oriented.
Yeah.
And I think that's the most important thing. We all have families, we all have children, we all have our own issues, and somebody along the way, can turn around and say to you, hey, are you having a good day?
Yeah.
Or if you're not having a good day, they can relate to that. But it's for me, it's afforded me a great opportunity to become a division chief, to become a paramedic, to raise my 2 children, to be comfortable, with my current living conditions, and to me, it's been an awesome job.
I got to say, both of them, amazing women, right? Like the ability of like Chief Thomas, Chief Claudio, just like amazing women who've made strides in this department. It's so exciting, to see what they're doing out there. I'll say Chinelle, I was like, wow, like she blew me away. Like I really haven't talked to too many people in fire prevention.
Right.
But talking to her and like how she kind of laid out her career of like what she's done, she's really impressive.
Well, it's always, doing what you love and what you enjoy, and all of a sudden you're not working anymore. So now I'm sure with the interview and stuff like that, you guys are speaking about how life is coming full circle with everything that she's doing, right? Especially also with
Same thing with Chief Claudio, like starting as an EMT in that area, going back as EMT to chief in that area.
Yeah.
Right.
And you're doing something similar right now too, right? Like you started as a firefighter in the area.
I started as a firefighter in the 4-6 Battalion. Right. I started in Engine 289, and now I'm covering in the 4-6 Battalion. So I'm going full circle. That kind of thing is great. Let's go a little back. Let's go back to one of the interviews you did.
Oh, you're talking
Let's
about...
talk about Dr. Cooper.
Dr. Kwame
That's what
Cooper.
I want to talk about.
Yeah, no, he was very... That man's lived a few lives, actually. A lot of time in the fire service, and he was very, very personal.
He's like a New Yorker, right?
Yeah, he's
originally.
a ball player. We're talking about ball and everything. I was like, all right, so you're very human. He's very human, but he was in the position where he has a lot of ideas to make strides, and he understands like how to communicate, difficult and have difficult conversations, and definitely new ideas. So it was a good interview. You know what? We're gonna
take a look at that.
It's a phenomenal career. It's not really a job. It's, to me, like a way of life, like a way of contributing to people in the community, oftentimes on the worst day of their life.
It's true.
And they call us to come as firefighters and EMS professionals to fix it. That's a gift.
That is a gift.
I love it. I absolutely love the work with all of the challenges that come with it in terms of emergency incidents, and then now as the Chief Diversity Inclusion Officer, I see this work as opportunities to improve the work that we do internally in terms of how we treat each other. And the thing that I love the most is working out of the firehouse with the members. That's where the service meets the customer, meets the residents. And that's the essence of the work. And that part I enjoyed with Los Angeles Fire Department, and now today with the Fire Department of New York, I get to visit and spend time with firefighters in firehouses, with EMS in EMS stations, with civilians, to understand the work that we do here in the FDNY.
That was a really great interview with Dr. Kwame Cooper. Really interesting to see his perspective, and being a native New Yorker, leaving and then coming back, being one of us again, right?
Yeah, definitely have a full perspective to see exactly how they do it out on the West Coast and now back to the East Coast. He's actually has been pretty intricate in visiting the firehouse. He's actually coming to my firehouse soon.
Well, that's nice.
So have a conversation. He wants to see, how the boots on the ground. He wants to talk to the boots on the ground, so he knows exactly how he could assist.
I'm excited to see his initiatives and how things are going to move forward under his leadership.
I'll be pretty impressed. He's from the one-on-ones and the other conversations we had outside of the Join FDNY podcast. It's pretty good. Yeah. Pretty good. So you know what? I'd like to thank everyone.
Thank everyone for joining us.
Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time at the Join FDNY podcast.
Take care.
Take care.